it's one thing to promise and it's another thing to fulfill the promise. Yes. So Ali promise, you know. He told me, by the way, lea watu we. Lea. And even every time I could get frustrated, nilikuwa namwambia sasa ona sijui nini ananiambia tulia. Lea watu we ngoja tu, and sign on the fruits, you know.
When people say marriage is a scam, what do you say?
I would say marriage works. I think what makes people say that marriage is a scam is a lot of expectations that they cannot meet themselves. You know, I expect you to be this and this and this, and I'm not that myself, you know. So when you have realistic expectations ni mzuri, but have realistic ones. Ningetaka kuambia, thank you so much for being part of me, like fully. I think when the rest of the people wanasema how you've inspired them, personally as your wife pia unani inspire every single day, and that is not something that I take for granted. Yeah, and thank you for loving me. Unanipenda kwanza.
Nakupenda sana.
Thank you so much for loving me. Thank you for being there for me and our children, and vile tunakuambianga mi nitakupenda tu milele.
Hatuna manual ya marriage. That's number one. So all of us are trying. We come from different perspectives of marriage, exposure imekuwa tofauti. But the biggest thing is the willpower ambayo inafaa ikuwe ndani yetu. Most people are not willing. So watu hawajaribu. Unaona, the negative aspect ishaenda too far, but if we have the willpower, me I'm sure battles zote zinakuwa won na the willpower. Yes.
Hello and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Now, I am pretty sure you caught our episode with Bonnie, and as they say, behind a successful man, there is a woman, and he's also not ashamed of admitting that his wife played a huge role into where they are right now. Na watu nikiwaambia, endeleni tu kuamini mapenzi, guys. Understand there is a person for you. True love is a gift and it exists. So, please do not give up. And I thought today niwaletee to the wife so she can be able to take us through her own journey, how she met this incredible man, how she decided I am going to be a stay-at-home mom, and how they are actually building their empire together. I'm about to let her introduce herself, but before that, people, you know, I have to say thank you. I know I'm slaying. I know I look nice, but you all know this is courtesy of Elegance Fashion. Thank you so much, my people at Elegance, for always making me look nice. I appreciate it. I do not take it for granted. And if you can get yourself something from there, if you are capable of, their contact details are right here on the screen. Go support them and let them know that we appreciate them. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let my beautiful guest introduce herself. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Energy yangu ni mingi. You're good?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Looking lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I
Thank
feel
you
like
very
I'm
much.
sitting with someone I have known for a long time, because tulingiana too.
Yes.
So I appreciate you being here.
Thank
yeah,
you.
But before we start, please introduce yourself.
My names are Elizabeth Muthoni.
Yes.
Dairo is my husband. Yeah, and married to one husband, Mel.
Yes.
And a mother of 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask, how do you feel about Bonnie?
Oh my God. This guy is amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. For real. I think you've interacted with him once.
Yes.
And you can attest to that.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
His energy is very beautiful.
Very.
It's out there.
Very. In fact, whenever he gets into a room, he's the kind of person that lights up a room.
Yes.
Yeah, like whenever he goes, he just gels with the people around. He's amazing. Yeah.
Are you proud you chose him?
I am proud. He chose me.
Amen. You chose each other.
We chose each other.
That's
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Because I always say sometimes when in that situation, you don't know but you put faith in what you have together.
Yes.
And you keep working hard, and you will soon look back and you are like, it was worth it.
It was worth it,
Yeah, but I
yes.
know it wasn't always that. You did not just wake up and all of you are living in this very beautiful home, running a successful business.
Yes.
Because I don't want to take away from the fact you are also a business person
Yeah,
with
yeah.
your own craft.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe if our audience can be able to listen to your journey, we want to understand who you are before Bonnie, so that we can get to understand how you guys met and how you feel about where you are right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm born and raised in Dandora. So I was born in Dandora, actually, in a hospital called Mukunga. It's right in Dandora.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was raised in the same place. So growing up, I'm from a very humble background, yeah. And also, we've been, okay, like my parents, I would say it's a, what do we say, dysfunctional kind of marriage or home. Yeah, so when I was growing up, there was a lot of back and forth from my grandma's to my dad's place, like that. Yeah, and yeah, so I went to school in a school called Tomboya, still in Dandora. Yeah, it was quite okay. An average girl. Yeah, from there I went to high school in Muranga, Gitugi Girls.
Oh, you are a product of Gitugi.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Okay.
I'm a product of Gitugi Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also quite a smooth run. I'd say I'm not a problematic kind of girl. I'm just reserved. Yeah, and
Nanga story mo.
sinanga story mingi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, after high school, I never got an opportunity to progress. Yeah, because as I said, I'm from a humble background, and I have 4 siblings. We are 5. I'm the firstborn, yeah. So of course, like in many other households, you have to prioritize the rest of your siblings. Na wewe unakula pause kwanza. Yeah, so waendelee kwanza. So yeah, after high school nikaanza kuhustle here and there. I remember first I got a scholarship to a beauty school hivi. So I went there, did some things from church, yeah. Then tukaanza kuhustle. I got a job at Pango. Nakumbuka nilikuwa napeangwa, was it 100 bob per day? Yes. So
na hapo ndio fare?
Yes.
Na lunch?
Yes.
Ama mlikuwa mnapewa food?
No. Yeah, so nikawaka hapo, nilikuwa na work kwa salon, na kwa the owner of the salon had a hoteli right there too bado. So nika hustle hapo for quite some time, but sikuwa na choice anyway, like I couldn't stay at home. Alafu I'm the kind of person that even right now, hata kama nimekwama mahali, I think inakuanga very hard for me to express myself, yeah, ama to ask. Like right now, hata my husband, he can tell you, tunashina tumebishana, uko na shida huwezi niambia why, you know, but nika background too. So hakuna venye ningekaa home because I need my life to move on.
Yes.
So nika hustle there for some time, like a few months, then nika join. Okay, my friend, she was alikuwa anafanya set books. So I got to join her. Nika get ka opportunity and come join.
Yeah.
And we did set books for like 7 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by this time we were already dating with Bonnie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So he wasn't comfortable with hiyo story ati nimeenda sijui Machakos for how.
Travel.
Yes.
Nimefanya set books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you know there comes a period where muna pack and then you travel for like as we used to travel for like 3 weeks.
Yes.
Then unarudi home.
Yes. Now that was me.
Yes.
Planet Theatre.
Oh my goodness, I was at theatrics.
Hey, oh yeah.
Yes.
Hey, so yeah, I did that for like 7 months. Yeah, then kukakuwa na opening tena. So there was tena another friend from church that was working at an optical shop in town.
Yeah.
So cause okay, even me I wasn't like very comfortable kwa theater and everything.
Yeah.
So alafu I got a better paying job, I'd say. So nikaenda work hapo kwa Optics.
Optica.
Yeah, inaitwa Star Optics hapo town. So I was there pia for quite some time. Yeah, and now all this time, okay, tulipatana na Boni. Okay, tumegrow church moja, yeah.
Okay.
So we've been there for quite some time. He was my Sunday school teacher.
Ha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but not Theatica Sunday school. Ni wale young men that wanajipatanga wanafundisha, maybe teens,
Yes.
like something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been in the same church for quite some time.
Okay.
And of course growing up, alafu alikuwa msanii. I think I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah.
So nimekuwa nikimuona from church for quite some time, but it wasn't even hizo za ati wow, ati this guy nini because I used to consider him as an elder brother or something, yeah.
Hey.
So yeah, so tukapatana hivyo, and fast forward 2014, that's when we got married.
Ni nini ilikumake ukasema acha nipe mtu chance?
So
What was it about him?
yeah, so as I said, tumekuwa na church, and he's been like his energy too, unailike too, yeah. But as I said, nilikuwa namuona like an elder brother or something,
Ulikuwa
yeah.
brother zone.
Kabisa.
Okay.
Nilimbrozon kabisa.
Kabisa.
So this one time tukaenda, there was a program called Knowing You. So it was in his place. So tukaenda huko nini, and that's when we got to interact, like kuinteract kabisa. And by then he was actually dating a certain Kagal. Yeah, and okay, after that was it, because that me sikuwa uko like completely. So after that, another Sunday tukapatana church nini, hi akatuambia bethe simple, nikamwambia si tuitie lunch.
Hey.
Akatuambia simkuje. That was after first service. Nikamwambia uko sure? Akasema nikamwambia unajua mimi si joking. Akaniambia ni sawa. And true to it, mimi na my friend that afternoon we were at his place, and he made us lunch.
And from there anajua kupika
kabisa, but anapikanga chini ya maji when he feels like it. Yeah, so akatupikia, and that was the beginning of everything. So we started chatting, and hata tunapochat mimi namwambia I know wedding yako iko far and all this stuff. Namwambia tunakula pilau lini. Ananiambia na wewe. Namwambia mimi bado ni mdogo. And just like that tukaanza kuflow, one thing led to the other. Yeah, and tukajipata tu tuna date.
Yeah.
In fact, the funny thing is that tukusemanga I can't remember a point mahali tulisema okay, now we are girlfriend and boyfriend. Just tulienda nayo tu. Tukaflow nayo. Yeah. And yeah, 2014 we tied the knot in a very beautiful wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how we started now life as a married couple. So Boni was not badly off compared to the standards zenye tumezoea za Dandora.
Yes.
Yeah, so tulikuwa tunakaa hapo moja inako.
Yeah.
Yeah, inaka well, not decent.
Yes.
Well, okay. In comparison to Dandora, ni decent.
Kalikuwa ka upgrade kidogo.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
Si kidogo.
Kabisa.
Aka 2 bedroom.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like a nice house.
Yeah.
So as tulikuwa hapo, he mentioned in his interview alikuwa anafanya kazi hapo kwa his previous employer. Yes. And mi pia nilikuwa bado nafanya hapo kwa Optics.
Yeah.
So pia during that time tulikuwa na hii job ya sound ya kuhaya.
Yeah.
Leo ungeingia kwa hiyo nyumba. I remember hata kuna picha fulani tuko nayo, maspika zimejaa hapo kwa sitting room hivi, because the next day I think tulikuwa na
gig.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, so that's where we started. Tuko tuna haya hizo manini, maspika nini kuhustle tu here and there. Yeah, and it was nice. Yeah, first year, in fact not first year. After that, immediately after marriage, like 3 months later, because of course ukiingia into marriage you're like Mr. Kiwatoi immediately nini. But he loves children so much, so after 3 months we decided why wait, you know. So I conceived. After I conceived, like 5 months later, mimi nimeenda tu clinic kawaida nini. And I remember, hapo kwa clinic, the doctor, hata sikuwa nimefika kwa sonographer, akisikiza, you know that, unakajua kale kakitu kanasikizanga.
Uniambie.
Kuna ako kakitu wanasikizanga nako. I'm like, I can't feel the heartbeat. Like, hey, okay. And don't worry, it happens. Maybe mtoi amejificha or something. Like, akaita another colleague of his, wakakuja wanasikiza, wako like, we can't feel the heartbeat. Wakasema, now we have to send you for a scan, tuende tujue where the problem is. And nikaenda scan, and unfortunately we lost the baby. That's where alikuwa anakuambia story ya, I think he mentioned in his interview. Yeah, we miscarried twice. Sorry. So that one, alafu a few months later pia tuka miscarry another one. Yeah, but one thing about Sisi, he kept on saying, and he keeps on saying, when you're friends with someone, ama when you lay a foundation that is strong, kuna vitu tu hazitawashika. I remember him telling me after the second miscarriage, because hata tulienda kwa another doctor mwenye alikuwa anatuambia sijui ati like tuliandikiwa tests 1 million, but we decided, you know what, wacha kwanza to face it. And I remember him telling me, even if tutakosa watoto, I'll still love you and I'll still stick by your side. So that was very encouraging, and I knew si ile watu wanajisemeshanga tu, he meant it. So yeah, but by God's grace, the next year, that is 2016, Mungu akatubariki with a baby boy.
Amen.
Israel. Yeah, and he's our firstborn, and from hiyo time forward atukupata place ingine yenye tume experience such miscarriages and all that stuff. Yeah, so hata hiyo encouragement pia kwa maybe there are women who are experiencing the same thing right now, and maybe mna feel like all hope is lost. All hope is not lost. God anakuanga tu na purpose na akona mipango zake, and when the time is right, you know, this is a very common phrase ambayo inatumikanga every now and then, but true to the word, when the time is right, he makes all things beautiful. Yeah, so if any woman is out there and is going through a hard time conceiving, kupata mtoi and everything, don't lose hope. God is there, and God ata make things beautiful in his time.
Amen.
And the husbands out there, pia support your wives through that time.
Support meant a lot, I can tell.
It means the worldly. It does, because you know at that point society pia imeshaanza kuongea, because especially hiyo kitambo squeezy, I think things are a bit kidogo lighter, but hizo ma 2014 hapo hivyo 2015 ilikuwa ni kama mlikuwa mna set your timeline. Mkiget married in the next 1 year, hata nyinyi tunafaa tushaanza kuona tumatunda. And so you can imagine ukikuwa na spouse mwenye is not supportive. Hapo 2016, no, actually 2015. 2015 he decided, like the pressure was too much. So we sat down and decided, you know what, I think it's time he starts his own journey elsewhere. And that's when tulifungua the shop. I think he told you about it.
Yes.
Ilikuwa mahali first floor, kitu alisahau kukwambia, nilikuwa next to a toilet. Iyo shop saa zingine mtu alikuwa anasikia ni kama uko kwa choo za Kanjo, because nilikuwa napitia hapo from time to time. Remember I was still working in Star Optics, just in case, because sasa hapo ilikuwa ni kuwe options kuona wacha tuone kama ita work ama haita work. And so akaanza hiyo shop, so nika work for that 2015. So in 2016, that's when nili realize niko pregnant with my first baby. Yeah, and at least ka business akakuwa kabaya, but still haikuwa poa, because I remember hata kuna time fulani nikiwa na ball tulikuwa tunatembea hapo Mtindwa, and there was a car ilikuwa inakuja na kulikuwa kumenyesha, and they splashed water on us, because hatukuwa that well off ati tungekuwa tuna Uber every now and then. Yeah, so si ati ilikuwa poa sana, but
Yeah.
pia ilikuwa mbaya.
Yeah.
So because of the miscarriages and all that stuff, we decided weka home. In fact, he hata yeye ali make sure, alijikaza tu, and I got some very good medical care throughout the pregnancy. But immediately I realized I was pregnant, took a decide I will quit. Yeah, so I quit my job. So sasa ni yeye apambane na mimi huku sasa nijaribu venye sasa home itaran fully under my care. Yeah, so 2016 October I deliver a baby boy, and sasa ikakuwa, sasa hapo uko like, sasa in 3 months am I supposed to at first my pregnancy was quite problematic. Yeah. So hata the excuse yenye nilipea mdosi wangu ilikuwa ni siezi to manage. And he was like, it's okay, when you're comfortable you can always come back. Yeah, so after me deliver ikakuwa like, sasa in 3 months mtoto anaachwa. And it was like, hapana, sasa this is what we will do, you have to quit your job, lea for now, and when the time comes, nitakusupport as he told you. So of course it wasn't very hard for me, because at least nilikuwa na trust na yeye.
Unajua mtu wako.
Yes. At least niko sure haezi nitema tu hivi. So yeah, nika quit from then, and how many years later? 7-8 years later, this is when nimeanza saa ku venture into other things. Yeah, because nimekaa home for all that time nikilea watoto.
So ukalea firstborn.
Nikalea firstborn 2016, but in between okay, it's not as easy as inasemangwa, because in between I think there's a time that I was feeling like ni kama life yangu happen. So the same place I got a chance kurudi, na nikarudi tena nikapata mimba. Kupata mimba I had tena kutoka. So but hata sikukaa the second time.
Yeah.
So after that I just decided, you know what, let me just lea. Nikimalizana nitafikiria tu about another thing later on. Yeah, so that has been like my son is turning 7 this year, so that is 7 years later.
Yes.
3 beautiful babies later, and I can't regret it. Kabisa. Siwezi regret any decision ama any minute that I've spent with the babies. In fact, sahi hata ndio nilikuwa like, sahi venye at least natoka, I still feel like I'm not giving them enough, because na feel my presence would still be much more better than the presence of the people that are taking care of them. Yeah. But sasa now it has come to a point that life has to move on, and I have to continue pia with my life, and at least hawako place mbaya right now. Yeah.
Like hiyo period umekaa na watoi, unaweza sema imesaidiaje kwa foundation yao?
Imesaidia sana, and the reason why hata siku pursue maybe employment is because at least when you're self-employed you can always like uko flexible tena, because he still takes care of us fully. Yeah, like si kwetu hakuna sijui story ya bills, hata now that I'm working hakuna, like he takes care of the home financially and everything, so we are comfortable. So kuku at least flexible, you can always ukifeel too I need to rush home, unaweza enda without anyone asking you 1 2 3 4. So I think the foundational years of a baby, nimesikia watu wengi sana wakisema, and I think it really makes sense when you hizo miaka ukipea tu mtoi vizuri, when you tena watching them develop, watching them like move from one stage to another, the milestones and everything, I think
it helps.
It helps. But now it depends pia, because not everyone is in a position to
do it. And I know many people would love, but circumstances are hard sometimes.
Exactly, because now like a single mother, how do you expect her to stay at home with the babies? She has to go hustle for the kids, and
come back
home,
try again tomorrow.
Yeah. Like circumstances too zinakuwa different. Some people, their spouses are like, you know what, utakaa hapa, lazima tusaidiane, au utakuwa mzigo kwangu, tutasaidiana, we'll split the bills into two, so you have to work. Hata kama ungetaka kukaa hauwezi kaa. So yeah, it depends with kama uko na the privilege to do it, but either way they still grow.
Kuna hizi stress who come especially after umepata mtoi, then unaona uko home, una feel uko overwhelmed. Did you get any, and how did you maneuver? Like how did you handle it?
Azikosangi, that I would say for sure. Haziwezi kosa at any given point. Na hakuna mtu atakudanganya ati zinakosanga. Zikuja tu. Like for me, even to seek employment the second time, ilikuwa tu ni hizo ma frustration. You feel like your life is at a halt. You feel like watu wengine, like lives za watu wengine zinaendelea na wewe uko tu, you know, like unaona your friends maybe, and people that you know maybe wame get ranks at their workplaces and all these things, and you're like, sasa mimi, unajua, it's like sasa ukianza tena kuseek employment ama kurudi in the job industry, you're starting from scratch. So kuna kwa watu na hizo, you must get frustrated at some point. And also, you know, like kukaa place moja for quite some time, it's not easy. It's not easy. So your world is just you, the children, nini hata kama utatoka once in a while, like it's not like every other normal person that wakes up in the morning kwenda kazi ama you know. So azikosangi, but now nimekwambia come from a family that is dysfunctional kinda, and you know, as unanini when you look back, you get to understand some things, and musema people can never be perfect, and I don't blame my parents as per se, but whatever I can get and rectify from them, I will, because nimekuwa na challenges, nimekuwa na issues. Some of them I'm still fighting up to now, and try to get the root cause, it could be the upbringing. But now that I have a chance to bring up my own, I would want them to not to go through the same challenges because of ati nilikuwa absent ama nini, you know. So that is a motivational factor to me. And even right now nimekwambia, from time to time I feel like ni kama bado I need to give them more, because I wouldn't want, okay, I know every human being akona their path na hata kosa to challenges twake, but if atapata challenges zake na huko ambazo hazikuwa inflicted by me, that will be good by me. So that is what that is an encouraging thing to me, to keep on. Nisione ni kama those years zilipotelea ama hata saa hii, because from time to time it's not like nimesettle 100%, but when I think about the kind of humans that I want to raise and the kind of humans that I would want them to be, it's all worth it. I don't regret a thing. Kabisa. Not at all.
Sasa umerudi job?
Sasa nimerudi. I had mentioned nilikuwa na ka boutique, but it didn't do so well. But sasa tena tumefungua ka salon. We have a salon and a kinyozi along Katani Road. Hapo Maki House. Inaitwa the Plushy Spot.
The what?
Plushy Spot.
Plushy.
Yes.
Plushy inamaanisha?
Plushy inamaanisha soft like. Cotton like kitu tu.
Gala ako. Utaenda. Gala ndio wa soft life huko.
Karibuni nyinyi wote. Ni wa soft life kabisa.
Soft life tutamleta.
Karibuni.
That's good. How does that make you feel?
Well, at least, you know, it's one thing to promise and it's another thing to fulfill the promise. Yes. So, Ali promise, you know. He told me, by the way, welea watoi. Welea. And even every time I could get frustrated, nilikuwa namwambia, sasa ona sijui nini, ananiambia tulia. Lea watoi. We ngoja tu. And sign on the fruits, you know, because nimekwambia hata sahi, now that at least I'm making a coin or two, he's not after the money ati sasa umeanza kuwan uko unafanya nini ama nini. Ako like hiyo ni yako, and he still adds me by the way on top of that.
Oh, wow.
So na feel fulfilled. Yeah, I think it cannot get any better.
That he kept his promise.
And now it's upon me pia ku try and
make it work.
Chase the dream. Yeah.
Okay. That's powerful. You know, especially because nilikuwa naongea naye namwambia wase ufika place mkishafika then mnatokana. Mse amekusaidia kubuild alafu mkishafika place unamtoka. And he said like from your end, because yeye alishatuambia reason zake, mbona mmestick pamoja bado?
I'd say kuna kitu, okay, above all God, because we are Christians, born again Christians, and when your foundation is in God, vitu zita move too. And another thing pia ni the foundation too, like he's a very big believer of setting a foundation that is strong, and just like a house, when you're building a house, the foundation that you make determines the capacity of the house to withstand all the
storms.
Yes, the storms that will come your way. So when you have a strong foundation, because challenges haziziko salini, ziko na watu wengine naonanga wakitaka kuportray a very perfect image of marriage, which is not the case. So hata hizo storms zikikam, when you're rooted firmly in a foundation that is strong, I think hakuna kitu itawa shake. Yeah, you mnaweza kuwa shaken but hamwezi kuwa broken. Yes.
Muna handling kiaje challenges kwa marriage yenu?
It depends. Venye inakam tu ndio tuna with what exactly nini, you know, but above all I think ni kuongea. Communication is very key. Now nimekwambia story ya nitarifa tu tena back the childhood and everything. My mom alikuwa ametulia and I think I took after her. So hata when I got married, the first few years zilikuwa noma, because mimi I'm the kind of people nilikuwa hata ukini offend I'd rather tu ninyamazie tu, na yako like tuongee, unanyamaza kwa nini? Exactly. So hata tukiongea bado it could get to a point haezi crack tu juu nimemwambia ni sawa tu. So ilikuwa inambother a lot, but at least now sasa ananiambianga tulikuwa tunaongelelea kukosa communication, sasa I think tunafaa kutemtemi communication. Because sasa with time nimekuja he's helped me a lot. Kwa hiyo and at least now we can communicate like vizuri. Tunakaa chini decide na we agree to disagree. Si lazima kila
agree.
Yes, sometimes tuta disagree, but as long as kila mtu anajua the other person's opinion, I think it's okay. So haikuangi mbaya. I would say watu wakicommunicate, build up here a lot of things, ndio inakujanga ina create something very bad,
hostility.
Yes. So we try as much as possible, hata kama tutanyamaziana 1, 2, 3 days, we try as much as possible hiyo kitu isikuwe ati ni something that ililengwa tu, then sasa in the next ndio mtakuja revisit, you know, hata ile siku
kwanza nachukianga hiyo kitu. Acha nikwambie, I will leave you at an argument the moment you bring something yenye has nothing to do with that particular argument. Ati even last year before Valentine's, ama mtu anakuambia ulivaa nguo za red siku ya before Valentine, so unashindwa like, you know, all those things. Like me, I will leave you at an argument the moment you bring something yenye kama tuna argue, maua ifai kuwa hapa, acha tu argue maua ifai kuwa hapa. Unaona, tusiargue hata maua ijamea vizuri. Like I feel like it's very unfair kuleta hizo vitu zote pamoja na tuna argue kuhusu kitu. I feel like it's very unfair.
It is but so as long as mmejaribu ku solve things as they come, it gets easier. Yes. Plus, as na feel the more you progress, I've heard people say that at least you'll never know a person like fully. but you get to understand their likes
As
and
time-
dislikes
as time
goes
inaenda.
by. Yeah. So you get that venye tu mnaendelea ku progress in marriage,
Yes.
the conflicts zina getting more mature and aziko more as frequent as they used
to be.
Yeah.
When people say marriage is a scam, what do you say?
I would say marriage works, but it doesn't just work. You have to put in a lot of work and understand that you're both human. You know, meeting someone that is already a grown-up human being, and he's been brought up in a totally different environment from yours. He has his own beliefs, he has his own like culture, you know, and you've come together with this person for life. It's not easy. So you have to put in a lot of work and you have to understand that he's also human. He's prone to mistakes here and there, and just as you are, you know, like I think what makes people say that marriage is a scam is a lot of expectations that they cannot meet themselves. You know, I expect you to be this and this and this, and I'm not that myself, you know. So when you have realistic expectations ni mzuri, but have realistic ones. Ask yourself, if I was in the same position, would I be able to achieve what I'm asking for, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of people, especially now, I think when you're looking for something, there's this picture that you've created in your mind of what marriage should look like, but you forget that for it to look like that, you have to work towards it, and you have to be lenient, and you have to be a team player.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say a team player.
Yeah.
So it works. It's not a scam. It works.
It works.
But you have to know that this other person is not an angel too. Yeah, just the same way you're not an angel.
So don't expect from people what you can't expect from yourself.
Yes. Don't put a lot of pressure on people, because sometimes it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I expect you to do a lot of things that probably from my end I cannot even achieve. You know, even given like 5 years I cannot achieve. Why? Like
Am I putting pressure on you?
Ladies, wachana na wazee wapumue kidogo.
Oh yeah. Kai.
Tusiwa
Na feel tunakuja sana. Hatukuji sana.
Kuna vyenye kuna vyenye wewe.
Yeah. Acha tuongelele a man being the head of a house and a woman being submissive. Sini sawa? So according to you, what's a leadership from a man and what is submission from a woman?
Leadership from a man is taking up the role of providing guidance to a household. You know, any institution must have a leader. Any. Hata hapa kwako, you have, maybe you're the leader of the team, you know, and it would be chaotic if everyone decides, you know what, lean kwenda, kila mtu ajipange. It would be chaotic. So when the man in a marriage setup, I personally believe that the man, as pia tumeinstructiwa in the Bible, should be the leader. Being a leader is different from being bossy ama kukua dictator, you know. Being a leader ni kujua that I'm leading these people, but I'm not siwa predicti what they should like, how their life should look like, but I'm offering guidance on how I'd want this family to look like, you know. Yeah, so and being submissive to a wife pia siku kanyagiwa chini, siku a slave ni ku understand that this person is the leader and working under them. If you know what I mean. Yeah, so it's not si ati ukae chini sasa ukanyagiliwe chini ukwe like wewe unaambiwa tu toka hapo, move, sit there, do what.
This is my house.
No, exactly.
Don't talk until I say so.
No, that is not it. Being submissive is understanding that this is a leader. Whenever I want to do something, at least I should consult, which is the same as the leader pia akitaka kufanya kitu with the team players, ana air out the plan, anajua this is what I want to do. What do you think about it? You know, and ku ask for that input or something doesn't mean that sasa umekaliwa or something. Same way na huyu mwanamke, usikae tu chini unyamazie vitu, and maybe you have an idea that could be a life-changing thing.
I know he's right here. So today, instead of me asking you, look at the camera and tell him what you want to tell him, maybe just look at him and tell him what you want to tell.
Oh my
Yes, ndio huyo hapo. Ama nimuite hapa?
Muite.
Bonnie, karibu. Ndio huyo.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Umekuja. My husband. Ningetaka kuambia thank you so much for being part of me, like fully. I think from the time tulijuana, it's not been all rosy. Yeah, and I was married at 21, so he's had a lot of kulea kufanya ya kufanya early marriages. Yeah, so umekuwa na a lot of kulea per se kufanya, but you've not given up on me at any given point. There's not a single moment that nakumbuka ukiniambia we kwenda we sasa we enda ukalelewe na huko kwenyu, you know, hata when maybe things were not venye unge expect zikuwe. I've mentioned communication, many take through, and na bado and I'm super grateful. Watu wakisema, when the rest of the people wanasema how you've inspired them, personally as your wife pia unani inspire every single day, and that is not something that I take for granted. Yeah, and thank you for loving me. Unanipenda kwanza.
Nakupenda sana.
Thank you so much for loving me. Thank you for being there for me and our children, and vile tunakuambianga mi nitakupenda tu milele. I want to be your friend for life. Yeah.
Friend. Oh. Bonnie, I know nimeku hijack pale. Yeah, but you have such an amazing person, and I believe she's amazing because you are also amazing. Yes. It takes two. Ungetaka kumwambia nini?
My dear wife. My dear wife, I am grateful every day. As a man, as a lion, as a conqueror. The lion is here. So, as a man, I would think I can achieve a lot, but it end up for nothing even if I achieve everything. But nikiwa na mtu najua ananicorrectingi, mtu nitemu, mtu niambia zima hiyo computer sende ulale, mtu niambia kesho pia ni siku, mtu niambia unaweza achieve lakini haitakuwa worth it, na feel the little things are the biggest to me. If there is anything that ever brought down a powerful man, ilikuwa ni pride na ilikuwa ni ego. So many men go up, they achieve everything, na that pride ndio walenda chini. So having you as my control, as my remote, na sio remote ya kunicontrol ukinichangia channel, but kujua it's time to switch off, it's time to go to bed, it's time to yes, imefika hapa now, it's okay. Lini naweza kwambia one thing for sure. As a man sometimes uko na pressure kibao, juu hizi majob pia ziko na pressure mingi. This is the biggest support system I have. Juzi tumekuwa akiniambia, why do you doubt my faith?
Alikwambia?
Yes. Nikamwambia the reason why I doubt your faith, as you could doubt your faith, ni juu niko yangu ni more practical, naona haziingi. Yako wewe hata ujui naongelea nini haziingi, sema tu hiyo ndio utapata. So that assurance from someone, even one person, deep down hata kanaweza kuona manza kuna possibility na always going to happen. So that is a reason why most people maybe wanna struggle is because they don't have the backing of their wives. So for me, that small belief you have in me ndio ni make ni shine mbele ya watu, ndio ni make nikuwe strong mbele ya wase, ndio ni make ni feel if naongoza mtu kwa nyumba na naongozeka hivyo ni Kiswahili, then pia naweza ongoza watu wengine hapa hivi nje. So thank you so much, and I look forward to we've just started. 9 years is a good number, but a very small number. bado tunasonga mbele kwa miaka mingi, anniversary after anniversaries, and I believe the world is there for us to conquer. Exactly. So ni support, na mimi kusupport, tusonge mbele, we raise a family, we raise a generation, we inspire people, na tujue hata whatever we are doing is not only for us, ni huduma, na pia ni kwa kusaidia nini? Wasi wengine waone the positive in marriage. Exactly.
That's powerful.
Yes.
Kuna kitu ungetaka kuadd?
I would just want to thank you for having us. And kukuwa na hii platform si rahisi, and especially because Lynn, you're big.
Oh man.
You're big, and whatever you're doing,
I receive.
Ni an inspiration to a lot of people. We watch you. Nilikwambia I'm a very gala na kujua. I'm a very big fan of yours, and I don't just watch because una produce. I watch because I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
The work you're doing. I'm sure there are a lot of people out here maybe that you won't ever get to meet, but when hata wakasikia Lynn amekuwa mahali, they'd rally up to come support you.
Thank you.
They'll be behind you. So you're doing a good job. It's such a privilege to be here. And I would also want to send a message of hope out there. Right now things are very hard. People are giving up right, left and center, but don't give up. As long as umeamka leo, imagine God talk on a plan. Don't give up. Enda jaribu kosa, kesho amka tena jaribu kosa. Imagine kuna siku moja tu utahack. So don't give up. Keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying. Even wanasemanga a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So that one step that you will make today, to not give up, to believe that you can do it, is what will take you through this 1,000 steps in future. So be strong, be positive, no matter how life comes. Attack it venye inakam. Venye tu inakam. Attack it.
Hiyo ndio faith yake ulikuwa unaongelelea.
So
ndio hiyo.
Never give up.
Never give up.
And this coming from a person mwenye hajatoka ati mahali, you know, kuna watu wanaangalianga, some people speak, wanasema unaongea tu hivyo because right now uko na what you have. But it's not been the case throughout. Like hata story yake ametoka far. Same to me, but that willpower ya kujua tomorrow is another day. I will fight on. No matter what life brings my way, I'll still fight on. And I know one day I will conquer. Right now, si tumeconquer. We still have a long way to go. But the willpower ndio itatutake where we want to be. So don't give up. Don't give up.
That's power, Bonnie. This is hiyo hope, hiyo kukua tu na hope na kujua God amekuamsha leo ufanye kazi yake. But before pia upatie watu wetu part in short, she touched on something important na mi struggle nayo hata kwa show. Leadership na submission. Nilimuuliza what it looks like to you. What does leadership look like from a man's perspective? Na submission, what is submission ukimwangalia?
The first thing, nikikuangalia madam, ni ku understand source ya kila kitu. Huwezi tackle something from the middle. It's either you just go to the root, ujue kitu ilianzia wapi, inafaa iende wapi na imalizikie wapi. So if you have that formula, I think it becomes easier and it becomes manageable, because source ya marriage ni God. Na roles za marriage ama roles za hizo maneno zote za leadership na submission still ni God. Na God alikuwa na the plan, ati the plan of marriage itakaa hivi. So ikikaa hivi ilikuwa ikayaje? Ilikuwa ikae man as a leader, okay? So tukiambiwa kwa Bible, na hapa ndako preach sasa hapa mtalini. God akisema kwa Bible alimake man kwa his image. Hii image ni leadership, okay? Sio physical image according to what I believe you. Physical image, God ni spirit, all right? So ni spirit ya leadership ameweka ndani yetu. So if from the source a man is given this role to lead, okay? So if ana lead familia na kila kitu kama vile tulisema in our last discussion, hakuna country bila family. So if source ya pale mwanzo na ndio maana devil fight familia. Ndio najua kiwai families, ma divorce, manini, hakuna country itakuwa iko weak, unaona? But if tunaweza go back to jua leadership ya man ilipatiwa na ilipewa na God. So man, first of all, nikispikia men, we should emulate God in terms of leadership. How does God lead his people? Okay? So God ana lead through mercy, through grace, na through truth. Alright? So kuna book inaitwa 50% grace, 50% truth. Ni hivyo ndio life ya leadership inafaa ikuwe. In as much as I want to love you, in as much as I want to love my family, pia as a man lazima niweke authority. Sometimes nikisema according to my plan as a leader, hakuna mtu ataingia kwa nyumba pa saa 3. Because I know nisipoweka some of this utapata mpaka bibi amefika mpaka next day. All right? Yes, amefika next day. Na itaenda mpaka usikie siku 2 hayuko sasa. It's because there was no authority. So ukiweka authority semeni hivi, kuna sasa cases utakuja kwamba kesho sitakuwa kuna 1 2 3 4. Why is she reporting to you? Because you are the authority. All right? Na kuna something tumekuwa tunaongea nawe for the longest time. Haimaanishi now because you are a man sasa wewe uko exempt from kusema haukuji ama unakuja ama umfanye nini. Hiyo sana ni kuwa bully kama wenye alisema. Can God do that? God hawezi fanya hivyo. God had to bully around just because he is a God. Kuna party ya mercy pia ambayo anatoa 50% na grace. So mwambianga wife, I'll be a bit late. So you know when maybe nimeshikana kuna stuff zinafanyika wapi, I'll be a bit late. Hiyo pia inamsaidia yeye kule home sasa. In short nimemwachia authority yangu ya home. If watu wanafaa kulalishwa walale, if kuna something nafaa fanya because I'll be a bit late. So the only way we have order is when we have a formula. Okay? So formula ndio hiyo, man a lead. Man I provide the way, I provide the formula. The reason why women are told to submit is to be able, first of all, na you know it's very easy for a man ako made of ego, na ego ni something fit sana. Unaona? So ego inakujaga inakuwa negative sana, ile inakujaga na kiburi. Alright? But the ego ndio uni make lean. Hata nikienda mbele ya wasi wengine niseme I'm called Bonnie Maina. That is the power in me, the lion, the conqueror. Unaona? The fighting spirit. Yes. Unaona, it's a very good thing, eh? But now the negative ego inakujaga inakuwa shida. So a man will feel that honor if he's respected. Yes. Sawa. So the part of a woman submitting to a man inamuongeza power, inamuongeza kule gero tunazitaga yani manguvu, yani unajua. Yes. Yani una feel tu uko sawa. Yeah. The part of a woman having someone they can look up to na kusema that's a leader, inawaambia wana feel loved na kufeel appreciated na kufeel secure. Yes. Na hiyo bond, hiyo combination inakuwa ni godly na kuwa going forward mko na formula na mnaweza mkasonga. Yeah. Okay, amen.
Amen. Okay. Amen. Yes. But before I let you go, yes, where do you draw the line between submission and enslavement? Ama bully?
Yes. Kuna will, yeah, kuna love, kuna uutu ndani yetu. Okay? So mimi ni believer wa character number 1. So character ni kuongelelea if your first base ni character. So nikiongelea character naongelelea do you love people? Okay? Do you appreciate people? Do you honor people? Who are you when hauonekani na wase? If you build that going forward, you can't oppress anyone. Jutari hiyo something iko within yourself, not do things that wewe mwenyewe unataka kufanywa na mse. But then kuna plenty of things ameongelelea, ameongelea communication. Lack of it italeta confusion. Na wasi wako depressed hapa hivi Angeline. Yeah? Reason tunasikia ma stories all over kwa social media na ma story mingi ni because watu wako depressed hapa hivi, watu hawaongeangi. So when you are frustrated, unaweza jipata ukifanya vitu si loving, vitu wazikai ati mpaka unazaambia mse sasa nimekuambia hivi. So ukisikia umeanza tu statement yako na hivyo uko na shida. Kuna something tu ndani yako inafaa kwa wakati wa kwanza. Ati wewe nimekuambia hivi mpaka unafunga macho na unaeka hivi kidole hivi. Na kuambia hivi nikikuja kwa hiyo nyumba. So una press was yes.
Haikujangi ati nakujanga mimi nakuambia hivi.
Yes.
Anafunga macho.
Kuna kichwa. Unapatia waidi kompe unafanya hivi. Yes.
Tena anarudia anaguruma.
So hiyo tayari haikam na love. So if haikam na love, then kuoppress msee ndio the next thing about fanyika. Juu sasa ni kalaini kakonda sana. Na devil jua that is the weakest point anaweza konga juu. Kuna place pia kuwa bully ukijita leader. Yes. Unakuwa sasa wewe nimesema. So nimesema inafaa kuwa more of wenyewe watu wameshakuzoea, ushasema ngare in a good way. So juu hawasikii sasa, you can now stamp authority. Na hata kuna mtu ushaona marriages na break, but wasi wanasema nyewe huyo mzee siko bala, lakini huyo mzee hapana. So people at least what people umeona huyu mwanamke alikuwa try. Exactly. So I think ni hivyo, if your base is good character wise, then you have a provision.
Yes. Good. Yeah, patia watu wangu parting shot kama kawa. And also mimi nimekuchallenge uende pale ufungue YouTube channel. We want to see a lot of beautiful marriage content. Na ninyi mtatusaidia kusukuma.
All right. So I say we don't have atuna manual ya marriage. That's number one. So all of us are trying. We come from different perspectives of marriage, exposure imekuwa tofauti. But the biggest thing is the willpower ambayo inafai kuwa ndani yetu. Wanasemanga the size of the will ndio power ya kuwin battle yoyote. Okay? Kuna kuwaga na willingness. If kuna willingness, then kuna chances za kupursue whatever we want. So first of all, let's change our mindset about marriage. Ikiru ni God given manzi, ni God aliplan kitu. So if we attack it with the willpower, tuseme manzi, mine will work. Whatever things that happen, kuendeaji, mine ita work. Tayari the spirit inakusaidia kuwin ile battle more than 50%. So hii ingine utakuwa unaweza kuitaka ukijua deep down uko spirited na high spirits, unajua mine is working. And you never know. We just might inspire a generation. We just might change the story. We just might change the script. We just might be inspiring young people kuambia ni aje yetu ina work. Okay? Na kuwaka imanishi eti sasa nitutoke hapa tuende wapi tufanye nini? No. Mimi tutatoka hapa niambie wife, unaona wewe sasa nimeingia shoki yote kwa ipigwa rangi. But hizi ni vitu lazima tufanye nini? We are building each other. But mine parting shot ni hiyo. Will power. Most people are not willing. So watu hawajaribu. Naona the negative aspect ishaenda too far, but if you have the willpower, me I'm sure battle zote zinakuwa won na the willpower. Yes.
Yeah, my dear. Anything you want to add?
No.
We are good.
We're good.
Bonnie, we are good.
Yeah,
shall we wind up?
Yes.
Na mandazi yetu tunangoja kwenda kuchangamkia my people. So thank you so much. And also I think for me my take home is willpower na mindset. For me, like, mindset is very important. It's very important what you think, what you're feeding your mind, what things are you saying to yourself, what things are you manifesting for yourself. And it's something I've had to learn along the way. There were times I would never care about what I'm thinking. You know, you just feed yourself a lot of negativity. There were times unaamka unataka tu usiku ifike ulale. Na sengine mtu hufika kwa hiyo stage in life. But now, the kind of willpower I have, it's the one if I have to wake up at 3 in the morning, I will wake up at 3 in the morning. If I have to meet few deadlines here and there, I know I have to meet them. I won't make excuses. I won't procrastinate. And you know, as they've said, marriage yao haikuji na manual. Everyone is out here trying. But also, as she said, teamwork is very important. Na ukiamua kukua a team player, be a team player fully. Stop being a team player na conditions. Mimi nakupea hii do, ni nini una breathe haraka hivyo kwa nini? Ama mbona unacheka, si unafaulie? Like, you know, all those things. Like, if you're going to be a team player, please be a team player completely. Wacha kupatia watu conditions. And as you've heard, marriage works. Marriage works, but marriage also takes a lot of work. Hakuna cha rahisi. Hata marriage, hakuna cha rahisi. Everything that you desire for it to be successful, you have to put in the work. But above all, as my man Denzel Washington says, put God first. Hii yote ni vanity, by the way. If we don't put God first in the things that we are doing, hata hii show tu ni vanity. So put God first, keep trying, keep loving, keep extending grace and kindness. A lot of things are happening in our society. A lot of people are battling even suicidal thoughts. So please keep extending grace and kindness, and we will be able to continue creating a very impactful society. Kama kawa, let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section. What's your take home? What did you learn from today's story? What did you learn also from Bonnie's episode, Inspire Global? If you watched this without having watched his episode, then akipole nilisahau kuambia hapo mwanzoni, you gotta watch his first ndio uelewe. So check the video, iko pinned hapa on the comment section, na kama watakuwa create channel by the time tuna air, I will also be pinning their link on the comment section to the incredible work that puts this work together. I appreciate you. I do not take it for granted. And to you, our viewers, for being so incredible, loving and supporting our work, I do not take it for granted. Want to share your story? My email is right there on the screen. And now how about you go have a beautiful day, and see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Bye.